What's the point? What's the point of this show?
Let it out. Oh.
I'm gonna kill myself.
What's going on? We're two guys, and we're on a couch.
Two guys on a couch together.
That doesn't sound good. Where else have you seen this on the internet?
Not many places, I can imagine.
So
Hi.
Today, and Ginger's here.
Hi.
This is starting off great. This is not chaotic at all. So we just wanted to shoot the shit and discuss something that I found. Unfortunately, I came across, and
then you dropped it on me like a cancer.
You had the
that had to rot away into my brain.
A NFT podcast, and this is not just an NFT podcast. What's the gimmick here?
So the whole point of this NFT podcast is that it's hosted by NFTs.
Yeah, you heard that correctly. It's not.
Let's run that back. What are they hosted by? Or what's it hosted by?
Hosted by NFTs. JPEGs. Actual JPEGs.
Right.
And I have them pulled up here.
Do we need to explain what an NFT is?
So an NFT is a non-fuckable token. So this podcast is hosted on iHeartRadio. So iHeartRadio hosted this podcast. I don't know, produced it, I guess. And they have a department within iHeartRadio called the Non-Fun Squad, and they bought just a bunch of NFTs for some reason, and we're like, maybe we'll do something with these, I guess.
They're for the future.
Yeah, they're an investment, bro.
They're an investment.
Because that's truly...
They're going to be worth a lot in So these NFTs are...
Oh, we can make an offer on Quirky's 307.
I've
not signed in.
Based on how this project is going, someone might need to make an offer for these to kind of dig them out of a hole.
And I'm just gonna take that.
Yeah.
Cool. So I just stole that. The three NFTs that host this podcast are Quirkies, which these are a little project. I don't know what the point of this project is. I don't keep up with NFT projects because frankly they're all stupid. So Quirkies 307, and then we have Quirkies 1988 over here. Cute little bubblegum thing. And then we have the funniest one, in my opinion, Loot Bag 2020. This is bag number 2020 from Loot for Adventures. This is literally a list of words. This is literally just a black square with some white text that has words on it.
So when they purchased these NFTs, I mean, how much would they have been worth?
Anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000.
Yeah.
For this image of text.
Well, yeah, because then you own it.
Okay, I was wrong. They spent way more than I thought. They spent $28,916.
Yeah.
Well, let me.
No, you own it. It's yours to own.
Oh, is that how an NFT works?
That's how it works.
Please. Okay, so I'm gonna read the description of this specific NFT, Loot for Adventures. Well, first of all, let me read the words in this NFT. That is like the entire point of it.
Yeah, the whole
Warhammer of Perfection, Holy Chestplate of the Fox, Great Helm, Dragon Skin Belt, Dragon Skin Boots, Leather Gloves, Pendant of Brilliance, and Bronze Ring. And so the description is, Loot is randomized adventure gear generated and stored on chain. Just stored on chain, not blockchain. Stats, images, and other functionality are intentionally omitted for others to interpret. Feel free to use Loot in any way you want. So they don't even know what this is for. They just made a list of words and were like, maybe people will buy this.
Right.
This image of text is supposed to be a character that is hosting a podcast.
Yeah, so the square you're seeing with the words on it is a character that
talks,
is hosting the podcast with the other two NFTs that you just saw.
See, these ones I could see. These are characters. They could be doing something. They don't have anything about them though. So the thing about Quirkies is they have like properties. So this guy has a gold ring, misty pink, a space hoodie.
Do they pay to accessorize their NFTs?
So no, but different accessories and traits are more rare and cost more money depending. So only 2% have the face that goes bleh. You know?
Yeah.
And 2% have a headband.
How much
that's
very cool.
More? God, they spent
Come on,
real
iHeartRadio.
money. And then 2.4. Okay, this one was cheaper. But yeah, so all in all, these 3 NFTs, I mean, they bought more than this, but these are like the 3 that are on this podcast. Also, there's nothing, I can't find anything else that they've done with any of these NFTs. This is the first thing.
And it's not, we should clarify, it's not a video podcast.
No, it's not a video. Yeah, so that's the other thing. We didn't even that's just the basic premise. This show is like a hat on a hat, but like imagine that there's nothing underneath the hats. It's nothing.
There's never going to be a pigeon pulled out of the hat to fly away. There's nothing there.
There's nothing ever there.
It's just 2 empty hats.
It's just a picture of a hat that you paid $50,000 for. And so they used the 2 NFTs in the like thumbnail, and that's really it. That's really all the mileage that the NFTs get.
Yeah, you don't even get to see. You have to go and search for the third host.
The third one, yeah, it's
NFT,
just a loot bag. Like, you don't
bag.
even know. Like, there's no context, there's no explanation of what these are. So the idea, do you want to please explain to me what the idea, not only of these NFTs hosting the podcast, what do they do? What do they talk about? Please enlighten me.
Okay, so
because this is already so genius already.
Yeah. Well, I think to really understand how this show works, you have to get into the mindset of an NFT. Because that's what the hosts do. They speak on this podcast as if they are a living, breathing NFT, just hanging out in the digital space, talking about pop culture. That really is it.
That's it.
That's the whole
but
thing.
You missed one key gimmick. So that's the hat on the hat. There is a third hat. Not only are they talking about pop culture, they are making bets. They are wagering.
How could I forget?
Yep.
How could I forget the wagering? The best part about the wagering, they bring up a question that's pop culture related or relevant to them as NFTs and or real humans. It doesn't really make sense. And they just randomly say, I wager that this will happen.
And then some dramatic music plays.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of music. I guess iHeartRadio makes sense.
Doom, doom, doom.
You feel like you're at a game show.
Exactly, yes, it does have a game show vibe. There's also there's no context. They just come out of the gate, they just start talking, and they're like, we're NFTs.
So everything we're telling you, they don't explain.
It just is there.
It's just there. Like, we had to listen to all the episodes to understand the format.
Okay, so we got the basic premise down. Now we're just going to start jumping all over the place because there's so much here.
Yeah, sorry.
These 3 people have no fucking chemistry. None.
Now, it feels like they plucked random iHeartRadio employees and put them in a room and said, you are now going to create this.
Yeah, so
this is all you do.
Who these actual people are, because in a press release they give their real names. Mistake. One of them, Dave Bonowitz, who plays Quirky's 307, they all work for Adult Swim. They've all worked on Adult Swim, but like literally nothing I've ever heard of. Things like Fish Center Live, Female Pervert, Westbound, Yoga Bro, Eggs and Pigsy Are Pleasant People. I've never heard of any of these things. They're all shorts. They're all web shows. Matt Harrigan, I've at least he's a voice actor, so like he makes sense to be on a podcast. He also has worked for Adult Swim. He's worked for things like Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, Assy McGee. And he's been like doing this for a while, like 1995. So that's another thing. These people are like older.
Yeah.
Like this guy is like
they're working professionals.
This guy could be Gen X, I think. And then the other 2 are like late millennials. They don't even know why they're there. They don't know what they're talking about.
No, and honestly, I don't think they're super tapped into what NFTs even really are. Like
Jayun Lee, she also worked on Female Pervert, but she's also like a director. Like she makes shit, and then like she also works with one of the other guys. Which, why are you doing that? Like, I get you need like a bag, but like, why are you doing an NFT podcast? You're like a director. You like make movies. I don't know. Anyway, and then like the crazy thing is, you texted me and you were like, there's no way these people know each other because their chemistry is like there is none. And I was like,
Yeah.
sadly, 2 of them are actually creative partners and have worked with each other many times. Which is horrible.
Yeah, it feels like rubbing sandpaper together.
Like, oh my God, like I already hate NFTs. And then like, for some reason, it's even worse that like, they just didn't know what to do with this. So they just gave it to these people and they were like, fuck, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
And then they just like put together the most like basic podcast. And I think that the wager thing is like, oh, like NFT people, they like to they like to bet.
It feels like someone browsed Wall Street Bets for like 10 minutes, and they said, "Hey, look, there's a market here. Let's just say that we wager and gamble on nothing." Do you want to read some of these?
Yeah, so here's some
just
of
to give
first. Oh my God. They just talk about Jack Harlow having a KFC meal, and they literally say things like, it looks like every famous person now has a fast food meal. Like the most obvious fucking takes and observations on shit.
Yeah, and I think the worst part is, so this whole podcast is supposed to be about pop culture. The hosts know nothing about pop
They don't know
culture.
anything about pop culture. It's
Every
like
time they bring up something,
they don't know.
They don't know what it is.
They literally say, I don't know. I haven't seen that. I just heard. Also, oh my God, we didn't even talk about this. Like, right out the gate, for some reason, they just start talking about hot takes. And, like,
oh, yeah.
One of the quirkies, she says, like, I don't like Breaking Bad. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I didn't ask. What are you talking about? Like, she's like, I think Breaking Bad was overrated. And it's like, okay, where did that even come from?
Right.
It just doesn't even make. Also, no.
You guys have really hot takes that I think most people think are way off.
Well, hey, I'll make another hot take. I did not like Breaking Bad at all, and I've watched the whole series, and I thought all the acting was really bad, except for Walter White or whatever.
Okay.
So
This should tell you everything you need to know about this show. One of the first bets is they talk about Drake's new album. The most just milquetoast, bottom of the barrel, normie fucking shit you could ever imagine. Drake dropped a new album. The first wager is someone going to drop a diss track on Drake by the 4th of July?
No, you have to say it like they do.
Yeah.
All right, let's put a wager down. Is someone
$10
gonna
$10 on the
$10 on this? Okay. Is someone gonna drop a diss track on Drake by the 4th of July?
Know, I don't actually know. I haven't listened to Drake. Really ever. I heard
remember
some people
there
liked
was.
him.
Oh, what was it?
What was it, like
a few
5
years
ago? He had problems with Kanye, right? And then they look it up, and they're like, "Oh no, he didn't have problems." With
No, that isn't it.
Meek Mill. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
they're like,
right.
Yes, Kanye will make a diss track on Drake by the 4th of July. And then the other one's like, no.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, no. And then that's it. That's the segment.
That's
and
the
then
whole
they move
conversation, and then they do another wager or they talk about something else.
Have you listened to the album?
No, I'll tell you what. When we were setting up some of the microphones for this podcast, I had a little bit of a technical issue, and that new Drake album is what I turned to test out my headphones. And I said, I could get into this. I think it sounds kind of cool. It sounds kind of adventurous. I'm not a big Drake fan, but I immediately said, this sounds kind of wild and maybe forward-thinking.
Honestly, never mind.
The Nirvana album?
No, that's the name of the Drake album.
Oh.
yeah.
Will there be a diss track? Will there be a line and a song roasting it by the 4th of July? The teens are going to have a beef with it.
I'm going to say, you know what? No, I think it's going to be a huge phenomenon among Drake's peers.
I wager that Kanye West is going to make a diss track by July 4th.
4th of July came and went, and they didn't talk about if anyone made a Drake diss track.
They never.
So it's like, what's the point? What's the fucking point of this show? Why? Maybe they recorded it before then, but fuck, what was the point? What?
Well, because sometimes they wager on things that you
They don't even
can't
make sense.
make a bet on.
They're nothing. The other one, that episode was, are the sales of grandfather clocks going to go down because of the new Stranger Things season? That's an actual fucking wager and talking point they made.
Go on. Let it out.
And then one of them was like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure one was like, I didn't even watch like Stranger Things," and it's like, then why are you? Vet these topics. Why are you talking about shit you don't know about?
They're clearly reading from some display of just a bullet pointed list of topics that are like, I guess, relevant. And then they don't do any research. They do nothing. They just react to what's written down.
The other thing I have written down from the first episode, the other bet, is what will be the first pickleball related death? It's like
that was weird.
They saw pickleball was trending on TikTok, I think, and they were like, how can we literally like just make anything out of this?
We should also touch on, and I think this is just a common thing in this environment with like the NFT market and kind of this whole weird digital space, is it's obviously two guys and one woman, and they always, without hesitation, they always find a way to sexualize their one female podcast
Do
host.
they? I didn't
Dude,
catch
pay
that.
attention. Pay attention to it. They literally will make any kind of sexual joke or be like,
"Fuck,
what do you mean by that?" Like,
oh my God.
every time that she speaks or touches on a subject.
You're like, ooh, mamacita.
Yeah, and
Ooga.
Right.
Also, they have this like air of like they're making fun of like crypto and NFTs, but like at the same time, it's like, then what's the truth? What's the point of anything?
There's a good 5 minutes in the first episode where they talk about being NFTs and not worrying about having to poop because they don't have buttholes.
But then in the same breath, they will reference shit from their own actual lives as if they're real people. So what's the bit? Are you NFTs or are you people?
Wait. Okay, so did you see in the most recent episode, one of the wagers that they put out was, I forget which fucking quirky it was. I don't know. One of them said, "My car is about to hit 100,000 miles."
Oh yeah, fuck. That was it.
How long do you wage, or for the wager they were like, how long till my car hits 100,000 miles?
First of all, that's not pop culture. Second of all, I thought you were NFTs. I'm clipping the microphone so much, but I'm so angry. I thought you were NFTs. In 1 second, you're an NFT in the digital space. 1 second, you're a human, and it's never. Ugh. And in the second episode, the fucking loot bag main guy, he talks about how he went to the CryptoCon or whatever the fuck convention that was.
VCon, Gary
VCon,
Gary
or whatever
VCon.
the fucking I don't know. There was several, but he goes to one and he's like interviewing this dude like Channel 5 style, like not making fun of him, but kind of making fun of him. And it's like, dude, you're literally like
that's the market you're trying to
like.
This audience you're trying to
Are you
reach.
making fun of crypto bros? Are you trying to appeal to them? I don't understand. Are you doing like the ultimate like troll? Are you that good? And you're trolling me because that's what it feels like. That it feels like someone specifically made this podcast to fuck with us.
Yeah, it hits just the right nerve to get beyond upset. Because here's the thing: it'd be one thing if it was a bad podcast, but it's a show. It's a show about nothing. To me, it's more frustrating to have content about nothing. In that sense,
you can make just like random things interesting.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's nothing. It's boring people talking about boring shit in a boring way. Also, something you touched on earlier, but we didn't go into depth on, there is no video portion to this podcast. It is only audio.
The whole point of NFTs being visual.
The NFTs are pictures. Why the fuck did you make a podcast out of pictures and not have a visual? Like... oh my god!
You could tell it was just executives at iHeartRadio or producers. Just they saw that NFTs were a thing, and they said, "Well, we should make an NFT show."
We have some leftover money in the budget in this line item. Let's make it.
We'll buy some NFTs.
Do this, we'll invest.
We'll make a show out
happens. Of it. And they had clearly no clue. It's like any other NFT project that you see recently that's been blowing up. Because it's so awful, is they had no clue what the fuck they were doing. They just bought first, and then they were like, oh, I guess we'll make something out of this. And it's nothing. It's ass. Red Ape Family, whatever the fuck that thing is.
Yeah.
The fucking Seth Green crypto movie or show or whatever the hell he's doing. It's nothing. It's all nothing. It's just a fad. It's just the ends are justifying the fucking means, and it's like,
Right.
But like this was just the perfect avenue. I was just like, this is the perfect encapsulation of that. It's just absolutely. You know what? Actually, there is one review that they did read on the second episode that hit the nail on the head, and they stopped reading. They stopped reading. This is a long review, and they stopped reading it because I was like, holy shit, this guy's nailing it. And I think they hit a little too close. So on the reviews on this podcast is rated a 3.9, by the way, 11 ratings. One of those
3.9 out of just 5 stars.
Yeah, 3.9 out of 5 stars, which is not true, not correct at all.
No.
That is completely inaccurate. This is the worst podcast I've ever heard. I swear to God. 11 ratings. One of those is mine, and it's a 1 star. So let me read. So the first episode premiered June 22nd. So here's all the reviews. June 22nd, this review. 5 stars. Always insightful. Always. On the first episode, always insightful. I learned so much from you guys. Hot takes that leave me with a deeper understanding of pop culture. Definitely not someone that they told to give them 5 stars. Definitely
not.
Definitely a real person who actually listens
Definitely
and cares
not
about
just
this show.
either an account made by one of them or just someone from iHeartRadio that they keep, boost the reviews.
Second day the episode was released, June 23rd. I'll admit that the prospect of listening to NFTs growls about pop culture held all the appeal of listening to NFTs grousing about pop culture. What a nightmare. And yet I found myself charmed by their droll banter. Bullshit. No. This is comedy for people who like car talk but despise cars. What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
He's literally saying, like, they're not saying anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole show.
And then there's the 1 star, which is the only accurate one, which I'll get to last. And then there's one more. Also came out the second day, and it said, an entertaining podcast. These are all 5 stars, by the way, except the one I'm going to read. An entertaining podcast made by sentient NFTs. It's only a matter of time until they take over the world. We should have heeded the Doge Father's warning about sentient AI while we had the chance.
Do you want to...
Just wait. I, for one, welcome our new NFT overlords.
Do you want to wage? do you want to wage on? Okay, so I'll
play the music. Right? Dun dun dun.
I'll put
$10 on
$10 on NFTs taking over.
I'm gonna say NFTs don't take over. All right, so the next point is
look out for the Supreme Court NFTs.
Clarence Thomas, shout out, friend of the show. He's coming on next week. Talk about his new project. Okay.
Turns out. Did you see Clarence Thomas's wife's cell phone NFT? It was worth like 2 Ethereum. It's just the text.
It's just like a picture.
It's just a picture of the text.
I mean, someone would pay for that. So this is the only actual review. Sincere review. This poor person is the only other listener besides us.
We commend you. Thank you for joining us.
His name is Doc Funky. He's a hero. And they started to read this. They didn't read the whole thing because I think it hurt them a little too much. So the title of this is Non-Fun. 1 star. I've been hearing ads for this show for what feels like months. So I figured I'd give it a shot because it's iHeartRadio, so they advertise on the radio.
Right.
All 3 hosts have unengaging voices and bland personalities. They also don't seem interested in what they're talking about and leave so much dead air between each other or during their own sentences that someone had to put music and sound effects behind them to try and keep the listener engaged.
Holy shit.
It doesn't work. The whole NFT thing also doesn't work. In the first episode, one of the hosts has to be reminded which character she's supposed to be, and another has to be reminded that they're NFTs when he refers to one of them as a white man. But maybe this is all by design. The group is called the Non-Fun Squad after all. Maybe this is one big con job, pulling out a terrible podcast because all the NFT people will listen regardless. I kind of hope that's the case, because otherwise it means that this is the best these three could come up with, and that someone listened to this boring, terrible show and thought, yeah, this is good.
Wait, how far did they get?
Let's upload it. They didn't get that far.
Where did they stop? Where did they stop at?
I think they stopped at sound effects behind them to try and keep the listener engaged. That was it. They didn't get past that.
They just stopped?
Yeah. And they were like hating on him. They were like trolls. They were like making fun of Doc Funky.
Of course, yeah.
They literally read a review on the second episode. Second fucking episode.
Well,
they
in the
read a
third
hate
one
review.
too. Oh, there's a whole, not to cut off that review.
No, please. That was it. That's all.
Great.
And it was
then
so
you're
accurate.
right.
Shout
they
out
nailed it.
Doc Funky. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Make sure to check out the Doc Funky NFT that we're going to be putting out.
Yep, it's going to start at 69 Ethereum.
Yeah. I think it's going to do numbers.
We're only using Luna for this, actually. So be sure.
I thought we were basing it off of solar.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's up and coming. I guess people could be like, why would they care so much about a podcast? But honestly, it's just a world we're super interested in, and we get involved in.
My brother,
as
iHeartRadio put out a new podcast last week, and the premise is that it is a show hosted by NFTs. It is the worst podcast I've heard in so long, and we talk about it. So here's what he said. Let's see if you can hear this.
Why are they role playing? Why are they pretending to not be people? Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. It's nothing. They're saying nothing. They're literally, words are coming out of their mouth. It's really a fucking Bo Burnham fucking bit where like, look, he's being silent. He can't speak right now. That's them. They're not. It's such a fucking nothing burger of nothing. Like, holy shit.
Just the end of holy shit. I mean, it's accurate like this. It's so fucking rage-inducing for some reason. I think it's because, like, I know people who are like way more smart and talented and like driven to make things, and they could never in their life get the amount of money that iHeartRadio.
They would never have the
show.
Opportunity to just be able to waste our time and iHeartRadio's money on bullshit like this.
Also, who makes a fucking 40-minute podcast? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. It doesn't
It's
make any
clearly
sense.
like there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like, stop making it.
Do you think they cut out I'm sure. I bet they record for like 2 or 3 hours, and they have to cut out just the only parts where they actually talk.
I'd say at least an hour.
I bet they
and then
only
that's like 20 minutes they cut, and I bet it's just like there's dead air.
Yeah,
like
I
you
bet
can
they
hear
just
dead
are not
air
talking
in the finished cut.
Yeah,
so I guarantee they cut stuff out.
Exactly. Like they're just sitting there thinking of things to say.
Oh my god!
As NFTs, that's the future, baby.
Fuck. So.
I'm excited.
I, for one, welcome our NFT overlords.
Yeah. Actually, do you want to put a wage or a wager on if
how many episodes they make of this show?
Yeah. How long do you think this show is going to last?
Oh, my God. Oh. I do think the third episode is the most listenable so far.
True. Yeah.
I think they like kind of started to get their footing.
There's a bit of a structure. Kind of.
There's like something. It's still an awful podcast. It's horrible, but like it's like the most podcast-ish thing that they put out.
Did you notice in the third episode they are figuring out the structure as they're talking?
Yep.
So they're like trying to explain where to look for their topics that they're trying to read off of.
That one of the wagers is literally like if Dave Matthews is gonna die of a heart attack soon.
Yeah.
It's like, where the fuck did that come from? What are you even talking about? You're just wishing death on Dave Matthews? What the fuck did he do? He just dumped a load of shit on people over a bridge.
You know, it kind of reminds me of sitting in like a lunch break room with...
oh my God, that's the most accurate fucking thing ever.
At work? At work.
Yep.
And you're sitting with like two people that want to keep talking, to you while you're trying to eat.
Holy shit.
And
that is accurate.
You're like being polite and you're talking to them. You're like, yeah, okay. But you're still just trying to eat your fucking lunch and leave.
Yes.
That is the entire
That's the energy
podcast.
Yep. I think this is like the borderline most interesting one that they said, and it's still absolutely nothing. They said they wondered if the new Minions movie will beat Top Gun in the box office. And I just wrote, who cares? Because it's like, who cares? What is this? What are you talking about? What's the fucking podcast about? They were talking about buying Thomas Middleditch's house.
And again, these things, these subjects just come up.
They come out of fucking nowhere.
There's just sentences.
It's not like a genuine like flow of a conversation. Like pretty much all podcasts, or like when a flow of conversation stops, they have another topic. It's like they literally like cut each other off, and they're like, okay, so the next thing is Thomas Middleditch is selling his house, and it's like, who cares?
It's Thomas Middleditch is selling his house, and then someone goes, who's Thomas Middleditch?
Yeah,
and then someone goes, does he have a house? What's his house? And then they'll be like, what's
anything?
What kind of house is it? We can't just say they're selling it for this much without knowing what the house is. I don't know. It feels like I'm in a senior living home, and there's just a loop of feedback, and I can't.
Yes. Also, did you get to the point where they like interviewed the founder of Quirkies?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing, brother.
I was like, oh my god!
I sat my ass down and listened,
and it was like
respectfully.
First of all, like any like NFT creator, pretty much all of them, they're grifters, they're con artists.
Yes, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah. So they like interview this guy, and like the way he's talking, he's clearly like, I mean, he's like kind of like excited about this shit, but like also like a grifter. And he fucking talks about, he like explains like what Quirkies is, and again does the like meme of like, we didn't want to like put too much meaning into anything because we wanted people to like make their own interpretation. And it's like, okay, so you just didn't know.
before they interview him, they say, well, we get to speak to our creator.
Oh my god, yep.
It's not often you get to speak to your creator in person.
And they were like, yeah. And one of the guys was like, yeah, most people don't get to do that. And then the best part of that was the loot bag guy. He goes, so what do you think about loot bag? Have you heard of loot? And he's like, no, I don't know what that is.
I have no fucking idea what that is.
He's like literally like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think I've heard of that maybe. And he was like, okay, well, and it's like that was it.
No, and then like, I think that's where it ends too, because then they said thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, they do. Have a good one. They keep in the bit where they're like, okay, thanks for talking, see ya, and he hangs up, and then they cut to later when they're talking, and it's like, who made this? Who fucking don't? This is iHeartRadio, for fuck's sake. Like, also, we can't even talk like on just a basic level. The audio isn't even leveled properly. It doesn't sound good. Like, I realized in the third episode, I don't know if this has always been the case, but in the third episode, it finally clicked that they are recording this remotely. They're doing this from their houses. I don't know if they've been doing that the whole time, but either way, the audio sounds ass. Like, it's not leveled properly. Some of them are really quiet sometimes. Some of them are really loud. It's like, what the fuck is this?
And it's one thing, I would honestly have more sympathy if this was just a bunch of random people.
Yes. It's the fact,
like NFT people just trying to market their
that would make me like pity them, honestly.
Yeah, I'd be like damn, like, okay, you tried.
Yeah.
This is iHeartRadio. This is a product.
The fact that it's 3 literal industry professionals, one of them is a voice actor, and that they're getting money from iHeartRadio. I mean, I get the bag, I guess. Like, just do whatever. But fuck, like, you could do anything. You could fucking do anything.
Well, what do you say to people who would just say, well, then, if you don't like it, just don't listen to it?
I have so much anger and rage inside me from the world, and like, this is the like best place that I can direct it is at these 3 schlubs and their fucking NFT bro shit. And so it's like, just let me have this, please.
And that's the worst part. They're peddling NFTs without knowing what NFTs are. Unfortunately, we have to know what NFTs are.
It's just a fucking vicious cycle. It's like they don't know what NFTs are, but they push NFTs and then they shit talk NFTs, and
it's like Paris Hilton
it's like,
promoting NFTs on Jimmy Fallon.
It's
It's
like,
just
I don't like NFTs either, but now I'm forced to know what they are because no one will shut the fuck up about them.
Yeah.
And then it's just this cyclical shit. Oh my God. I'm going to have an aneurysm. I swear to God. These people made me so angry.
You got to stop the show, guys. You're going to kill my friend.
You please stop this.
You're going to pop his brain.
I was worried when there wasn't a new episode for a while today. I was worried they like stopped the show after 2 episodes because it was so bad. I was like, oh no.
No content.
And I was like, I feel like we gave them a fair shot. 3 episodes.
True.
That is a fair shake on
lenient on the
let
first.
Me actually read.
First couple tries.
Here's the press release on this. iHeartMedia launches Prop Culture, a first of its kind podcast hosted by the company's non-fun squad NFTs and voiced by comedians and celebrities. The NFTs celebrity. Who the fuck are these people? They are not celebrities. Also, they're obsessed with celebrities. They constantly talk about them. But the most basic
pop culture to them is only big celebrities.
But it's like Brad Pitt.
Breaking Bad.
It's like it's literally like 10 years ago
Minions.
to them. Minions. But then they're also like, I don't know anything about Minions. I just see them everywhere. And it's like, yeah, I don't fucking either. But it's like, why are you talking about it then?
Right.
The NFTs include Lootbag number 2020, voiced by Matt Harrigan, TV writer, producer, and voice actor known for his work on The Late Show with David Letterman, Celebrity Deathmatch, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, Aqua Teen, Hunger Force. So in other words, he has no fucking excuse to be this awful. Quirky's 1988, voiced by Jae-young Lee, director and writer for independent video movies. What the fuck? She did.
Yeah, that's you know what those are.
She does
independent video movies.
Oh yeah, it's some woman who made video movies. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't even bother to give her like proper credit.
What the fuck?
Jeez.
Quirky 07, voiced by Dave Bonowitz, producer and musician with featured series on Adult Swim. Jae-young Lee is also okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
During the series, the host will be joined by other celebrities who are proud NFT owners, including Paris Hilton's very own Bored Ape NFT, which will make an appearance on the podcast in a future episode. Holy shit! I did not see. Actually,
wait a second.
Throughout the show, hosts again. That hasn't happened, by the way. None of that's happened. The only guest they had was the creator Quirkies. Throughout the show, hosts and guests will dissect the latest in pop culture and wager on what unexpected entertainment news will break next, placing outlandish and hilarious prop bets with one another. They're not outlandish. They're not hilarious. They're just random and fucking stupid. iHeartMedia continues to be on the cutting edge of the audio world. Does it? Does it? Said iHeartRadio Digital Audio Group President Conal Byrne. He's just a guy. He's just a guy who says shit for iHeartRadio. We're excited to introduce Prop Culture at Cannes Film Festival! They premiered this at Cannes Film Festival.
They did.
Pioneering the first ever podcast series voiced by NFTs, the metaverse is pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
They're not voiced by NFTs. They're just voiced by
They're voiced
hosts.
by people.
They're just voiced by people.
Like, it would be cool. Like, what if they did like a filter on their voice, or like, you know, made it sound like different, or like talked about, like made up stories about like their lives as NFTs, did like little skits, maybe wrote something. No, they did like the most stupid nonsense boring shit possible. Also, like the little voice that chimes in all the time, that's just fucking Microsoft Sam that one of them like types in really quickly and it says shit. Like it's still like, it's like the shittiest made podcast I've ever seen, and somehow it's made by industry professionals on iHeart fucking radio.
Right. And again, we wouldn't be, I think we wouldn't be so angry if this was just like us, like just two people
this
making.
It embodies every fucking thing I hate about NFTs and corporations. It's just like, how can we get in on this fucking fad and just make something just because, like, it wasn't like somebody had a great idea and like they're
passionate about the project. They pitched the project.
They were like, oh, this is so cool, like let's try to make something cool out of this. No, it was literally like, this is popular, let's buy it right now and we'll figure out what to do with it later. And then they handed it off to these three fucking people and they didn't know what to do. If Paris Hilton's voice came out of my headphones, I would scream.
I'd fulfill my promise to myself. I'd achieve my destiny. That'd be it for me.
Oh my god. Yeah, I got this Bored Ape. Here's mine, and it has some sunglasses. Isn't that the coolest thing? I love it. Somebody paid me $2 million to do this. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. God damn it.
Here's the thing. I'm so disappointed there's not a visual aspect to this. Not because of this, even just ignoring the concept. Just the fact I want to see those dead eyes. I want to see the dead eyes of those NFTs just trying to talk.
That's the thing. I wish there was like a shitty just animation of like them talking.
Just JPEG images just like moving.
Yes.
Subtly, just up and down. I pay for that. I'd pay for a Patreon version of a visual NFT podcast.
That's the insane fucking thing is in what way are they using okay, so for the quirkies at least they're in the thumbnail.
Right.
So it's they paid literally $5,000 for
that.
For part of a thumbnail. That's it. Part of the branding, I guess. They have the copyright to do that.
Sure.
Also, or just don't do that. But then the loot bag, what did they pay for? He's not referencing anything on the loot bag. He's not shown anywhere. He's not in the thumbnail. He's nothing. It's nothing. He could say he's anything.
I think a good frame of reference, not necessarily tied to NFTs, but having a pop culture podcast that talks about social media, celebrities, whatever, would be something like Sarah Shower and Brittany Broski have a show.
Yes. What's it called?
It's called
it's violating terms. No, what's it called?
Violating community guidelines.
Something like that.
They have a show that touches on very similar topics, but it's heavily structured and researched, and they both are actually funny people with chemistry that actually know each other and they want to make content for people to enjoy. This is just it, if this is all NFTs can bring to the table, then
it's also it's also been put out at a time where crypto sentiment is at an all-time low. So it's
I don't understand why the push for this now. And I think something to consider is they did all this, but we're just two people that have actually been NFTs this whole time.
Yeah. So you can check us out on OpenSea.io.
This is the first live action metaverse.
Yeah, I don't mean
NFT
to brag. We didn't even advertise it as that. But yes, this is actually the first live action video hosted by two NFTs.
We wanted to show a shitty example before we brought in the big guns.
Mm-hmm. And you can own the copyrights to each of us.
Yeah, you can
separately. Own us. Go to OpenSea.io/Sagandis and you can.
Anyway, we just pranked iHeartRadio. They
trolled ya!
Got him! We sold the NFTs, and now they made a show!
We stole them! We stole your NFTs!
What are you gonna do? Come get them.
Fuckers.